We're here with Binnie Smalls. My name is Empress Yvette Marshall, YMTV, and we're going to be talking about music production with this wonderful, great lady. And we start off with the introduction. Binnie Smalls, greetings. How are you?
Thank you. I'm good. I'm so inspired by Jamaica right now.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
What inspires you about Jamaica?
Everything. The weather, the food, the culture, the people.
Wow.
Everything, essentially.
Wow. So do you think
and the
that
music?
I was just going to go there. I was going to just go there with the music.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the music.
Mm.
How did you start in the music industry?
I've always loved music, like with all my heart.
Mm-hmm.
When I was a kid, I was like waking up singing, like
wow.
to myself.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, it was like it's always been my passion, like my freedom and space, like. But I have not always been like having a vision that I would be a dancehall producer, dancehall DJ, because I've been growing up with like punk rock music.
Wow.
And like old school
That's
rock and like
Wow.
So like in my late teens, I started listening a lot to hip hop, and I love hip hop.
What are some of the hip hop artists that you love from that era?
Oh, maybe I like Biggie Smalls.
Binnie Smalls, Biggie Smalls, get the
Exactly.
drift? Yeah. Okay.
No, but I love like everything from 90s and like early 2000s. That's my like,
That's your
that's
niche
my
right
era
there.
of hip hop that I love.
Oh, very nice era because things changed after like 2004, 2005.
A lot.
It shifted into a different direction.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I was a huge, or I am a huge fan of Timbaland and like
Oh.
Pharrell and like
Yes.
all of those producers and like
Wonderful producers.
yeah, amazing, and like
Yes.
have done so much for the music business.
Wow.
But then I've been listening to everything. Like you never just listen to one genre. Like
Yes.
you listen to a lot.
As a DJ, you never do. DJ to DJ, we have to listen to everything.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And you never like. Sometimes you have to relax your mind with something completely different than what you're working with.
Yes.
So it's important to like take in everything, and you can take inspiration from
Everything.
genres
Anything.
that you've never even listened to before. Like,
Yes. Yes, it's very true.
Very, very like interesting to like steal small parts from totally different genres.
That is so cool because do you think all the different genres culminated together helped to push you into the direction of production?
I think so. I started producing a few years ago.
Oh.
And I was like starting to produce trip hop mainly,
Okay.
and a little bit more like soundtrack music.
Okay. Tell us about that. I'm not too educated on that type of music.
No,
Teach me.
yeah, it's you know the era of like Portishead and Massive Attack and like all of those trip hop artists.
Okay.
I've been very inspired by like the dreaminess and the soundtrack like vibe,
Yes.
and then like a little bit like spooky vibe, but with a nice like hip hop flow.
Oh, so you bring like the flavor or
Exactly.
the right seasoning to it.
Exactly.
Nice. Binnie
Yeah.
Smalls, quite innovative. So production for you started just a few years ago. Did
Yeah.
you ever think for your love of music you would evolve into being a producer?
Producer actually came before the DJ thing. So I started producing a little bit, but I never think that I would like make a career out of it when I started, because when I started to DJ, it was 5 years ago.
Really?
A little bit more than 5 years ago. I started
Wow.
producing and started DJing at the same time, because I decided like I always wanted to be a DJ. But I never got into it. I was like, okay, it's gonna be too hard. It's gonna,
Yeah.
mind.
Your mind sometimes teases you or tries to control
and
you in
blocks
that way.
me a little bit.
Of
like,
course. We overcome it though. As women in the business, I have to stick that in.
Yes.
Yes, we do.
Yes,
You know,
we do.
we do overcome it because there's a strength that overcomes and says you're going to be a DJ or you're going to be a producer.
For sure.
And you reached that level because you're noted for one of my favorite Ijan songs. We're going to talk about that later. Yes, we're going to talk about that later. But let's talk about the DJing experience. How do you like it? How would you rate it on a scale from 1 to 10? 10 being excellent, 1 being poor.
Is it too like dorky to say 11?
No, that's perfect.
Oh,
Because I was born on the 11th. Let's work with number 11.
perfect.
You see the connection? I love it. I love it. It's
Yeah.
number 11.
Yeah,
But
perfect.
to be a DJ, I definitely agree with you. It's on a high level. It helps your production skills as
Of
well.
course, it
doesn't
goes hand in hand, and I think like that's why my career like rocket, like something happened when I started.
Yes.
Because I was like, okay, I want to DJ and I want to DJ dancehall mainly.
Yes.
And I always like blend in Afrobeats and hip hop and everything in my sets as well. Like everything that's got a like vibey flavor. I love a dance floor moving.
Oh, that's right. Keep the crowd happy.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And at the same time, I was like, okay, there's a lot of songs that I love, but don't really have the dance floor like energy.
Yes.
So I started to do remixes of songs that I love, but I put a lot of drums and bass and like making them exactly to play in my sets.
That is genius, man. Because see, it's like our ears are different from everyone else's ears.
Yeah, for sure.
As a DJ producer, we hear all kinds of things.
We do.
And see, the fact that you did remixing, that brought you to a new level of production.
Exactly.
Let's talk about the hits you made and blowing up as a producer.
Yeah, I like when I think back on the like timeline of what happened, it's like I don't even know what happened. Like it has been so overwhelming, but in like an amazing way. I started to do my first remix I ever made was a Sean Paul and Ward 21 remix.
Wow.
So I got like the a cappella from a team I'm working with in Sweden, Safari Sound.
Okay.
And I got a cappella and I was like, okay, I'm gonna remix this for fun, and like surprised them that I did a remix of it. And then I did, and then I played it for them, and they were like, okay, we're gonna send this to Ward 21. And I was like, excuse me?
My gosh.
I was like, do you know those guys?
Oh my
And they were
gosh.
like, yeah. So they emailed the song to Ward 21 or to Suku.
Yes.
And then they were like, okay, they're not gonna answer. Like they have so much to do, so they don't like expect anything. And I was like, okay, I'm not.
Wow.
And 5 minutes after, they answered like, this is wicked. Can we drop it on our label? So like I was like, okay, 4 months after my like first remix I ever made, it was dropped on Music Music's the Jamaican label that Suku and Ward 21 has, and it was featuring Sean Paul. So my first like credit was a Sean Paul and Ward 21.
Ward 21.
Yeah.
As a producer.
Exactly.
Who gets that type of life?
Right.
She does, Binnie Smalls. Now that's amazing.
Yeah. So it was like.
And they called you back like.
I don't even know. It's like,
because I know the artists. They're not gonna call back, but if it's really good, they're gonna call you.
Yeah.
So you hit the nail first touch.
It was like it was amazing. Like it was, for me, it felt like all the stars aligned. It was like, okay, this is me. This is what I need to do now. Like this wouldn't have happened if I, like, do you know what I mean? Like,
of course.
Yeah, it was like a sign. It was
that's a definite sign.
Yeah. It was like,
that's
do this, and I just kept doing remixes, and everything led to another thing and another thing and another thing, and here I am, at Tuff Gong.
At Tuff Gong.
Yes.